I have a Fisher and Paykel DCS stovetop with 5 gas burners. One of them sparks and won't turn on. When I put a glass lid over it, the gas seeps down and eventually gets lit, a bit of a dangerous experiment, but the igniter continues to spark. All 5 burners look the same in terms of sparking. The spark jumps from the igniter to the burner, just below where the gas comes out. But the center one won't light. Furthermore, once it does, it seems that a thermocouple somewhere isn't recognizing that it did. I had the problem on a side burner and took it apart and cleaned it, and then it worked. But cleaning the center one didn't. And BTW, this burner hasn't been working for some time, so it isn't because I just cleaned it and got it wet, which is a known problem with this model.
Hello and thank you for using this service. Have you cleaned the small hole by the electrode with a paperclip? The spark has to jump straight up as well. Is it doing that? Also, if possible, take a pic of the burner by the electrode and upload it using attachment link.
Thanks for the reply so quickly, although I'll be slower. Especially since I will be traveling tomorrow AM and won't be home until through night. However, just now I tried super cleaning the electrode and needle, then with ammonia and a Q-tip, and drying with a hair dryer, all to no avail. I looked at the angle of the spark and it does go up slightly from the electrode to the burner metal, but as far as I can tell, no more or less than any of the working burners. And I don't see a small hole by the electrode. And remember, if I light the burner with a match, the sparking doesn't stop. So it seems as if I have 2 problems, but I don't believe in 2 problems. Could there be a common cause? Where's the heat sensor that turns the spark off? I've uploaded some pictures. Rob.
Check the brass ring manifold. There should be a slot on it that lines up with the electrode to light the unit and to put a flame back on the sensor. The sensor is the electrode. When heat is applied to the top metal part of the electrode, it should send a millivolt feedback to the module to cut the spark out. With the ring on in place, watch the spark and compare it to the other ones. Watch it carefully. Also make sure that brass ring is clean. If you have one of the same size on the other burners, swap it out to see if it makes any difference.
Good hints. And I now see what is failing. There is a round plate that first goes over the burner that gets screwed down with a large nut in the middle. This plate has tiny holes in the sides. Over this goes the brass ring manifold, and it has slots on its side. And then there is a black piece that lays on top of the brass one. On a working burner, when I turn the lights out, I can see an even flame coming out of the tiny holes of the first plate all the way around the burner, including hitting, or coming very close to, the sparker/sensor. On the bad burner, after I light it manually, there is absolutely no flame coming out of this bottom plate, just the slots out of the brass plate above it. This explains everything. Apparently no gas is getting under this bottom plate. Now, I'm looking at how it is supposed to get the gas to these holes, and the only path for the gas, which is coming straight up the middle through a pipe in the first plate, is to waft around the nut back down below the plate, it seems to me. I don't see any holes in this plate on the top for gas to get back down below it. Anyway, I cleaned all 3 of these pieces thoroughly, and turned it on, and still no ring of fire below the first plate. How in the world is the gas supposed to get there? Rob P. S. My wife just informed me of what this two-level gas design is for. When the burner is turned to simmer, only this bottom part stays lit, and that's true when I look at how the good ones work. So for some reason, the simmer isn't working on this middle burner. And by the way, no, I can't swap out any parts, as this burner is unique.
Okay, light the burner manually. Look to see if you see any flame around the bottom plate where it meets the cooktop frame. Once in a while I have seen the gasket under the burner assembly go bad. Then gas can seep under instead of up. This is hard to see, but if it looks like some of the flame is coming out from the crack between the lowest plate and the frame, the seal is the issue.
I'll get back to you Friday. I'm out of town until then, thanks. Rob.
No problem.
Okay, I'm back. I am attaching a couple of pictures for reference. One shows all of the pieces, one shows just the base plate leaning on the base. The base plate is the one with the holes around it that do the simmer function and are right across from the spark to start everything, and also to heat the sensor to turn the spark off. And the simmer isn't working, which means no gas is getting there. The gas pipe comes through this base plate and the gas is therefore above it and the holes. For the holes to get gas, the gas must somehow come back down around the outside of the gas pipe, by bouncing off the bottom of the piece that goes over the base plate, I'm guessing, below the base plate, and waft under it and through the simmer holes. There is no other path I can see. When I look at this design, it looks like the base plate fits over the pipe and cups into the donut hole of the base beneath it, leaving little room for gas to waft around it. It looks like more gas would be able to get under if the base plate were elevated just a tad. So as an experiment, I put it back on but with 2 dimes between the base plate and the base, and then it worked. Upon talking to my wife some more, she said this burner worked when first installed and that it would turn on, but the spark would never turn off. But shortly thereafter, it quit altogether. So it never worked right, and was always marginal, apparently. I also attached 2 pictures of the burner on. One has the dimes, and one doesn't. The one that doesn't was lit manually and sparks all the time, and, hard to see, doesn't have lit gas coming out of the simmer holes like the dime picture does. I then took the same 2 pictures in the dark with no flash, which clearly shows the difference. The dime one has the glow beneath it. And the dime one isn't perfect as the simmer part flickers a bit, so there needs to be some adjustment there. I looked at your gasket theory. I took a barbecue lighter and, after igniting the burner manually, I ran the lighter around the base and it seemed like maybe there was a little gas there. But I did it on a working burner, and the effect was the same. So, this is a bad design? Is there some tweak for the separation between the base plate and the base? Some trick of the trade here? Rob.
Take the main plate off so you can get at the gasket. Reseal that gasket with just a small amount of silicone and then try it. You are having an airflow issue through the small holes on the removable middle plate. It is being starved for air. Which I believe is due to the small leak around the base gasket. Let me know what happens.
Okay, I'll try that either tomorrow or the weekend. Stay tuned.
Sounds like a plan. Good pics by the way.
Okay, I think I have solved this. I attached 2 more pictures, the first a large image of the base, and a second of what's inside the lower hole, which is actually to the right in the photo. I wondered what that was, and then it dawned on me. It is directly below the plate with the simmer holes in it, so if it feeds gas here, then that is the path for the simmer gas. And it looks like it is a little nozzle, and filthy. So I cleaned it with Q-tips and ammonia, and it looked better, but still it wouldn't work. Then I stuck a sewing needle into the little hole in the nozzle, and tried it again, and the burner lit. Kinda. When I turn it down to simmer, it cuts out and in, but I'm sure I'm on the right path. Last question perhaps for you is, how the heck do you clean something like this? The hole is a couple of inches deep and access is difficult. I was thinking of pouring some rubbing alcohol in there, or ammonia, and letting it soak. Advice? P. S. I attach a third photo, which shows the hole better. Rub.
You may want to remove that lower plate to get it better. If you take the center bolt off, the plate should lift off, but you only need that hole to be clear, so if you use a paper clip or needle, that should do it.
I at first tried to take off that center bolt to explore your seal idea, but it is on very snug and I'm messing with the gas line. So I didn't want to break anything by giving it more force, and then I thought some more and tried the other approach. But removing this bolt, is that a safe thing to do? The sparker looks attached to it, so it will lift up also, yes, with perhaps a wire coming up? As for the nozzle that I am trying to clean in the hole, will that stay put as the plate lifts off, or is there some seal there? Rub.
If you cannot get the center bolt off, that is fine. Just get a long thin piece to clear out that orifice and it will be just fine. I would not pour anything down it, it just has to be clear.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.